With renewed determination, the crew began to work together to repair their ships and strategize for the next phase of their campaign. The Dreadnoughts buzzed with energy, each crew member aware of their critical role in the coming battles. They shared stories of their triumph and reflected on their fallen friends, including Leo, who had ignited their passion for this fight. As days passed, messages were sent to neighboring star systems calling for unity against the Galactic Empire. Earth was no longer a silent planet waiting to be trampled. Instead, it was becoming a beacon of hope, rallying other worlds to join the cause. On the bridge of the Unity, Kelly received responses from several systems. Many pledged their support, vowing to send ships and supplies to aid in the fight. Among the messages, a holographic image flickered to life, revealing leaders from various planets. "We stand with you, President Kelly," one of the leaders declared. "The Empire has oppressed us for too long. Together, we can bring them down." Excitement coursed through the crew as they prepared to welcome their new allies. Ships from different worlds began to join the human fleet, transforming it into a diverse coalition. Each ship brought its unique technology and skills, enhancing the strength of the Dreadnoughts. As the coalition gathered, the mood shifted from uncertainty to hope. They planned their next moves, aiming to strike at the heart of the Galactic Empire. Strategies were debated and refined as they prepared for the next battle. Meanwhile, the Empire was not idle. News of their defeat spread throughout their ranks, igniting anger among their commanders. In a dark war room, high-ranking officials gathered, their faces grim. "We underestimated the humans," one general admitted. "They've become a force to reckon with." "Then we must crush them before they grow too strong," another replied fiercely. "They may have won one battle, but they have not seen our full might." Back on the Unity, the atmosphere was charged with anticipation. They were ready for whatever the Empire would throw at them. The crew trained diligently, honing their skills and learning from each other. They had become a family, united by a common goal. Finally, the day came when the coalition fleet was ready to strike back. Kelly stood before her crew, her heart racing with a mixture of excitement and fear. "Today we fight not just for ourselves, but for every world the Empire has oppressed. Let our actions echo across the galaxy. We will show them the strength of unity." The crew erupted in cheers, their determination unwavering. As the coalition fleet launched into space, the Dreadnoughts moved as one, a powerful force ready to take on the Empire. With each passing moment, they drew closer to the Empire's stronghold. The stakes were higher than ever, but so was their resolve. They were not just a fleet, they were a movement. They believed in a future where freedom reigned, and they were willing to fight for it. As they approached their destination, the crew prepared for battle. They knew the path ahead would be fraught with danger, but they were ready. Together, they would face whatever challenges awaited them. A new dawn was rising, and humanity, alongside its allies, would fight to ensure that it shone brightly for all. The battle for the galaxy had only just begun, and with every heartbeat, they felt the power of hope surge within them. This was their moment, and they would seize it with both hands. In a distant galaxy, a vast empire known as the Galactic Empire spread across many planets. Among the many worlds it ruled, Earth had always been a place of hope and resilience. However, tensions had been rising between Earth and the Empire. The people of Earth had learned to defend themselves, knowing that the Empire was powerful and cruel. In a small human colony on the outskirts of the Empire's territory, life was peaceful. Families lived in harmony, working together in their fields and homes. Children played in the fields, their laughter filling the air with joy. Among them was a little boy named Leo. He was 8 years old, with bright blue eyes and an adventurous spirit. Leo loved exploring the forests and dreaming of becoming a great hero. One fateful day, the peace of the colony was shattered. Without warning, a fleet of alien ships descended from the sky. The ships were sleek and terrifying, adorned with symbols of the Galactic Empire. Panic erupted in the colony as the aliens landed, their soldiers storming through the streets. They shouted orders in a harsh language that the humans could not understand. The adults tried to protect their children, but the aliens were too powerful. They began to capture anyone who resisted. Leo watched in horror as his friends were taken away. He felt a surge of bravery and ran to help them, calling out to the others to run and hide. But just as he reached them, a soldier raised his weapon and fired. In an instant, Leo fell to the ground. His small body lay still, and the laughter that once filled the air turned into cries of despair. The colony fell silent as everyone realized what had happened. The news spread quickly, and the heart-wrenching image of Leo's lifeless body was captured on a device, a small recording that would soon reach the far corners of Earth. Back on Earth, families were gathering for their evening meals when the video began to play on their screens. The horrific scene filled their homes with shock and sadness. Parents covered their mouths in disbelief, while children stared wide-eyed at the screen. The news reporters struggled to find words to describe the tragedy. It was more than just a death. It was a declaration of war against the very essence of humanity. As the story spread, the anger and sorrow among the people of Earth ignited a fire. Thousands gathered in the streets, holding signs that demanded justice for Leo. "We will not forget!" they shouted, their voices echoing through the cities. The world had lost a child, but they had also found a reason to unite against the Galactic Empire. In the halls of power, leaders met in urgent sessions to discuss the tragedy. The mood was heavy with grief and fury. Leo's death was not just an isolated incident. It was a clear message from the Empire. They had crossed a line, and now humanity needed to respond. As the leaders debated, images of Leo's smiling face filled the screens. The room fell silent as they recognized the weight of their decision. They could no longer stand by while the Galactic Empire inflicted such pain on innocent lives. Leo became a symbol of everything they held dear, and his death would not be in vain. In the following days, the news continued to spread. Memorials were held in every city, with candles lighting up the night in honor of Leo. His name became a rallying cry for justice. The people of Earth were no longer just citizens. They were warriors ready to fight for what was right. As the sun set on the last day of mourning, a new determination filled the air. The leaders of Earth gathered again, knowing they had to take action. The Galactic Empire had underestimated humanity, thinking they could take what they wanted without consequences. But now, fueled by the memory of a brave little boy, they would show the Empire the true strength of Earth. With a heavy heart but a fierce spirit, the leaders began to formulate a plan that would change the course of history. The Galactic Empire had unleashed a darkness, and now Earth was ready to respond with the light of justice. Leo's death would not be forgotten. It would spark a war that would unite humanity against their oppressors. In the days following Leo's tragic death, the air on Earth was thick with anger and determination. People from every corner of the planet felt the pain of the little boy who had lost his life for no reason. His story spread like wildfire, igniting a fierce desire for justice. It was clear Earth could no longer sit idle while the Galactic Empire wreaked havoc across the galaxy. In a vast conference hall filled with leaders and military commanders, an emergency meeting was taking place. The room buzzed with energy as they discussed the next steps. They were all deeply affected by Leo's death, and now it was time to act. "His death cannot go unpunished," President Kelly declared, her voice steady and strong. "We must show the Galactic Empire that we will not tolerate this kind of violence against our people." General Park, a veteran of many battles, nodded in agreement. "We have the technology and the resources. We can mobilize our forces and prepare for a response. But we need to strike hard and fast before they think they can attack us again." As the discussions continued, the leaders devised a bold plan. They would gather Earth's most powerful ships, the Dreadnoughts, an impressive fleet of 700,000 warships. These ships were built with advanced technology and armed to the teeth, ready for battle. News of the fleet's mobilization spread across the globe. People were filled with a mix of hope and fear. On one hand, they were excited that their leaders were taking action. On the other hand, the thought of war made them anxious. But the memory of Leo fueled their resolve. They knew that they had to fight for their future. As the ships were prepared, families gathered in their communities to support the effort. They organized rallies, held fundraisers, and sent messages of encouragement to the soldiers who would soon be embarking on this dangerous mission. The phrase for Leo became a symbol of unity, reminding everyone why they were fighting. Meanwhile, Earth's scientists and engineers worked tirelessly to ensure that the Dreadnoughts were ready for battle. They upgraded systems, improved weaponry, and conducted drills. The crews trained day and night, learning how to work together as a team. They practiced maneuvers and simulated combat scenarios, preparing for the unknown challenges that lay ahead. As the days passed, the fleet was finally ready. The Dreadnoughts, gleaming under the sunlight, lined up in massive formations. Each ship was a fortress, a symbol of Earth's determination to stand up against tyranny. People watched from the shore, their hearts swelling with pride and hope. They believed in their warriors and the strength of their united front. With the fleet poised to launch, leaders held a final press conference to address the world. President Kelly stood before the cameras, her expression serious yet filled with determination. Today we stand not just for ourselves, but for every innocent life taken by the Galactic Empire. We will show them that humanity will not back down. We will fight for justice, for Leo, and for all who have suffered. Together, we are stronger than any empire. The crowd erupted in cheers. People held signs and chanted, their voices ringing out with defiance and hope. The world was ready to unite against a common enemy, and nothing would stop them now. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the Dreadnoughts began their journey into the vastness of space. Each ship carried not just weapons, but the dreams and hopes of every person on Earth. They were headed toward the Galactic Empire's territory, ready to confront the cruelty that had taken so much from them. As they traveled through the stars, crew members looked out into the endless void, thinking of their families, their friends, and the little boy who had sparked this mission. Each of them understood the weight of their responsibility. They were not just fighting for themselves, they were fighting for a brighter future, one where no child would suffer the same fate as Leo. With determination in their hearts, the fleet set its course for the Galactic Empire, ready to unleash a storm of justice. The tragedy of one little boy had ignited a fire that would burn brightly in the hearts of humanity, guiding them toward victory. As the Dreadnoughts traveled through the dark expanse of space, the crew members buzzed with energy and excitement. The vast fleet consisted of 700,000 powerful warships, each one a fortress ready for battle. The silence of space felt heavy, but it was also filled with a sense of purpose. Every soldier, every pilot, every engineer knew they were on a mission that would change the course of history. On board the flagship, the Unity, President Kelly stood at the bridge, looking out at the shimmering stars. She felt a mix of pride and anxiety as she gazed at the massive fleet. The crew had trained hard, and they were ready for this moment. "Prepare for arrival at Galactic Empire territory," she ordered. "We have a long journey ahead, and we must be alert." As the Dreadnoughts continued their journey, the officers on the bridge reviewed their battle strategies. General Park pointed to the holographic map of the Empire's territory. "We need to hit them hard and fast. Our first target will be their supply depots. If we cut off their resources, we can weaken them before they even know we're here." The crew members around him nodded, their faces determined. They had all lost something to the Galactic Empire, and they wanted to ensure that no more lives were taken. The memory of Leo inspired them all, pushing them to fight harder and smarter. Finally, after days of travel, the Dreadnoughts entered the Empire's territory. The silence on the bridge was replaced by tension. They had crossed the invisible line, and now they were on enemy ground. The crew could feel the energy shift. They were no longer just defenders, but invaders, ready to fight for justice. As they approached their first target, the mood shifted from anxious anticipation to fierce determination. The officers activated the ship's communication system. "This is Captain Reynolds of the Unity. We are entering the area of operation. Prepare for combat readiness." The crew moved swiftly, taking their positions. The Dreadnoughts formed a tight formation, weapons armed and ready. As they advanced, the radar detected enemy ships moving toward them. The Empire had noticed the human fleet and was scrambling to respond. "Enemy ships detected! They are approaching fast!" one of the radar technicians shouted. The tension in the air grew thick as everyone braced for the impending battle. "Maintain formation! Prepare to engage!" General Park commanded, his voice steady and calm despite the chaos. The first shots rang out as the enemy ships came into view. Dreadnoughts fired their powerful cannons, bright beams of energy cutting through the darkness. Explosions lit up the void, illuminating the night sky as the two fleets clashed. The sound of gunfire and alarms echoed through the ships, a symphony of war. The crew of the Unity fought bravely. They maneuvered their ships skillfully, dodging enemy fire while returning shots of their own. Each hit on an enemy ship filled them with hope. They were avenging Leo and all the others who had suffered. As the battle raged on, the human fleet began to gain the upper hand. The Galactic Empire had underestimated Earth's resolve and power. Dreadnoughts moved in perfect synchronization, taking out one enemy ship after another. But the Empire was not without its own tactics. They unleashed a wave of fighters to intercept the Dreadnoughts. The small ships darted around, firing their weapons with precision. The human pilots, however, were well trained and ready for this. They engaged in dogfights, their ships weaving in and out of danger. On the bridge of the Unity, President Kelly watched the battle unfold. She felt a surge of pride as her crew fought valiantly. "For Leo!" she shouted, her voice ringing through the comms. Her words spread through the fleet, igniting a fire in every heart. They were not just fighting for survival, they were fighting for a cause. The tide of the battle turned as the human dreadnoughts continued to press forward, cutting through the enemy lines. One by one, the Galactic Empire's ships fell, their once mighty fleet crumbling under the weight of Earth's resolve. As the dust began to settle, the human fleet emerged victorious. Cheers erupted on the Unity and across the dreadnoughts as they celebrated their first major victory against the Empire. They had shown the galaxy that humanity would not be crushed. They were a force to be reckoned with, fueled by love and loss, and they would not stop until justice was served. The dreadnoughts had been unleashed, and Earth was ready for whatever came next. As the echoes of victory faded, the human fleet pressed deeper into the heart of the Galactic Empire. The dreadnoughts, emboldened by their recent triumph, moved as a single powerful unit. Captain Reynolds of the Unity stood on the bridge, scanning the starry expanse ahead. "We've tasted victory, but the fight is far from over. We must stay alert." The atmosphere in the flagship was electric. Crew members exchanged excited glances, their spirits high. But lurking beneath that excitement was a current of tension. The Empire would not take this invasion lightly. They were sure to retaliate with all their might. As they approached the Empire's capital planet, the mood shifted. The once bright stars seemed to dim under the shadow of the colossal cityscape that lay ahead. It was a sight of both wonder and dread. Towering spires rose from the surface like jagged teeth, and the air buzzed with energy from the vast defense systems ready to unleash destruction. "All crew prepare for a potential engagement," Reynolds commanded, his voice steady. "We have to expect their strongest defenses here." General Park stood beside him, pointing at the radar screen. "They've deployed their most powerful warships. We must be cautious. This will be a true test of our strength." With the fleet now on high alert, the dreadnoughts entered the atmosphere of the capital planet. Alarms blared as enemy ships emerged from their hiding places, swarming around the humans like angry hornets. "Engage the enemy!" General Park shouted, his heart racing. The dreadnoughts responded in unison, opening fire as they unleashed a storm of energy blasts. The clash was unlike anything the crew had ever experienced. Massive enemy battleships returned fire, their weapons lighting up the sky. Explosions rocked the Unity as they navigated through the chaos. Crew members held their breath, focusing on their tasks while the battle raged around them. In the midst of the chaos, a massive enemy Titan appeared, a warship so large it seemed to cast a shadow over the entire battlefield. Its hull was dark and imposing, adorned with intimidating weaponry. This was the flagship of the Galactic Empire, known as the Eclipse. Its reputation for destruction preceded it, and the human crew knew they faced their greatest challenge yet. "Focus all fire on that Titan," Reynolds ordered. "If we take it down, we can weaken their forces significantly." The dreadnoughts rallied together, their guns trained on the Eclipse. Energy beams shot forth, striking the Titan's defenses. But the Eclipse was powerful, and its shields absorbed much of the impact. The crew watched in disbelief as their efforts seemed to bounce off without significant effect. "They're stronger than we thought," one technician shouted, frustration creeping into her voice. "We need to find a way to breach their shields." General Park quickly assessed the situation. "We can't keep this up forever. We need to create an opening. Let's draw their fire!" The crew sprang into action, executing a daring maneuver. The Unity and several dreadnoughts split into smaller formations, drawing enemy fire away from the main fleet. The plan worked. The Eclipse turned its attention toward the smaller ships, allowing the dreadnoughts to regroup and recharge their weapons. "Now, hit them with everything we've got," Reynolds commanded, his heart pounding with adrenaline. As the Titan's defenses were momentarily weakened, the human fleet unleashed a torrent of firepower. Energy beams struck the Eclipse with ferocity, causing it to shudder under the onslaught. The human crews shouted with joy as they saw sparks and debris flying from the massive warship. But the Eclipse was not finished yet. With a fierce roar, it retaliated, firing a volley of missiles toward the human dreadnoughts. Explosions erupted all around as the dreadnoughts scrambled to evade the incoming attack. "Brace for impact!" Reynolds yelled, gripping the controls as the ship jolted. The crew held on tight, their eyes wide with fear and determination. As the chaos unfolded, General Park saw an opportunity. If we can focus our fire on the starboard side, we can take out their main weapon systems. It's our only chance! The crew rallied once more, redirecting their firepower toward the Eclipse's vulnerable side. The energy beam struck true, and the Titan began to tremble. With one final blast, the Eclipse erupted in a brilliant explosion, lighting up the dark sky. The human fleet erupted in cheers, the weight of their victory washing over them. They had taken down one of the Empire's strongest warships, sending a clear message to their enemies. But as the dust settled, they knew this was only the beginning. The Galactic Empire would fight back harder, and the clash of titans had only just begun. The Dreadnoughts, now victorious, prepared for the next wave of challenges that awaited them in this relentless war for justice. The echoes of battle finally faded, replaced by a new sound: silence. The human fleet hovered in the aftermath of their hard-fought victory over the Eclipse. The stars twinkled brightly, but they felt different now, like beacons of hope. President Kelly stood on the bridge of the Unity, taking a deep breath, her heart swelling with pride for her crew. They had faced the Galactic Empire and emerged stronger. "We did it!" Kelly exclaimed, her voice ringing with excitement. The crew erupted into cheers, their spirits lifted by their achievement. They had avenged Leo and shown the Empire that humanity was not to be underestimated. But the celebrations were brief. General Park stepped forward, his expression serious. "We may have won this battle, but the war is far from over. The Empire will retaliate. We need to prepare for what comes next." Kelly nodded, her expression turning resolute. "We will not back down. We will use this victory to strengthen our position. We must reach out to our allies and rally support against the Empire."